Yep, we're live.
My name is Scott Carroll. I am the general manager for the Costa Mesa Sanitary District. And it's great to see you all here tonight. This is one of the reasons why we purchased this building back in 2016, was to have meetings like this at our own facility. So this is great to see everyone here talk about trash. I'll be here because you receive notices from us about our source separating program that we're going to be implementing on October 7th. That's when we'll start rolling out the blue cards here. Remember what kind of size that you pick, you'll be getting one of the blue cards. Delivered to your home, and you'll be required to separate your recyclables. It's an unfortunately, it's a mandate that the state requires us to do. So if you're also here, you probably have a lot of questions and concerns. Hopefully our presentations can address those questions and concerns. But if not, we will stay here as long as we can to answer your questions. The one favor I do ask of you is that while we give our presentation, you can hold off on your questions until we're done with the presentations, and I promise you, we will answer all your questions. This meeting is also live streamed, so for those who are watching it and come from home, they are watching this right now. If you do have questions, you can email those questions to us at info@cmsdca.gov. But we will not answer your questions tonight, but I promise you we'll answer those questions in a day or two. So you can email those questions if you're watching our meeting live stream on YouTube. Some housekeeping notes to do a mention. Restrooms are just right here in the hallway to the right. Emergency exit with the emergency door right behind you, and there's another emergency door right through here. This is exit route, so those are the emergency doors. There's refreshments. Help yourself. Please, get up during the meeting if you want to help yourself with refreshments. Again, we'll be here as long as we can to address all your questions and concerns. And before I turn over the presentation, I do want to recognize a few people. First, I'd like to recognize our president, the board member, President Mike Schaefer. And this is our vice president, Arlene Schaefer, Yes. And I do want to recognize some of my employees, my staff that are here tonight, because if it wasn't for them, they wouldn't be able to put on this event tonight. And there's a lot of planning and logistics that goes together. And I want to thank some of my employees. I want to thank Melanie Midway, my district clerk, information officer. Ruth Breda, who's my senior management analyst. Gina Toronto, another senior management analyst. Angela Kaluga, management analyst. I also have Caitlin Trans here. If you have any questions on finances, so my finance manager is here to answer about budgets or rates. I also want to thank Stephanie Revelis. If there's any translations that you need, she's here to help with any Spanish-speaking residents. I also want to recognize we do have some members of our Citizen Advisory Committee that are here today, and that committee meets every other month, and they give guidance and recommendations to our board of directors. So I want to recognize Cindy Brennan, Nikki Fernandez, and Paul Lancaster. Thank you very much for being here tonight. And I don't want to recognize Carpenter Smith, who's our consultant. They have put together some fantastic outreach material for us that I'm sure you received in the mail. I want to recognize Sienna Boyd and Jennifer Midway. So thank you very much for being here, ladies. And then finally, I'll introduce you. They'll introduce themselves later, but I also want to let you know that we do have CRNL representatives here. We have Julie Abreu, our regional vice president, and Mike Carey, the senior sustainability manager, are here tonight. Also, just came late is my hotel, also my Citizen Mind Stream is also represented from similar Tyler Teacher Gross's office is here tonight as well. All right, so I think that's about it. So I am going to turn it over to Marissa, and she is going to start off with an overview of why are we here? What's SB 13 all about, right? And then we're going to turn over to Julie, and she's going to talk about the rollout program and how this program works. So I'm going to start with Marissa. She's going to talk about why we're here tonight. So Marissa.
Now I'm going to hear me okay. All right, so welcome, as Scott said, I am Marissa Breda, the Senior Management Analyst here. I work on our solid waste programs, so if you called in with questions or concerns, there's a good chance that you talk to me. But also, as Scott stated, we're here to talk first why we're here. Why is the district being required to implement this system, and what does it mean for everyone? Next slide, please. So the short answer to why we're here is Senate Bill 1383. So this is state legislation that passed in 2016. It sets as a statewide effort to reduce methane emissions and combat climate change by reducing the amount of organic waste that's in our landfills. So when we talk about organic waste and SB 1383, we're talking about food waste and green waste and other types of organic material like paper and cardboard. So these items make up over half of what goes into our California landfills. When this material decomposes in landfills, it emits methane, which traps heat and contributes to climate change. So with this goal in mind, SB 1383 requires all cities, counties, and special districts in the state of California that are collecting solid waste to implement a number of programs and to collect and recycle organic waste. Next slide, please. So as I mentioned, organic waste has a few different types. When we're talking about food waste and green waste, we are already collecting that in our organic recycling program. So that was something that the district implemented in 2015. It was actually the first residential program of its kind in Southern California. So with this program, your green waste and your food waste is collected. It's transferred to an anaerobic digestion facility where it's converted into compost and renewable natural gas. So we've got this organic recycling program that's been in place since 2015. It addresses a very big component of SB 1383, but we still have other organic materials like paper and cardboard that we have to consider. Next slide, please. So as I said, SB 1383 mandates the reduction of all organic material. So because our paper and cardboard and those types of organics are currently collected in our mixed waste park, we are required to implement measures to address that per SB 1383. So the legislation gives jurisdictions with a mixed waste system like ours two options for addressing those items. The first is to send those materials to a high diversion organic waste processing facility, which basically just means that facility guarantees that they'll divert 75% of that organic waste. Although the legislation came out in 2016, there are currently only 2 of those facilities in the state, one in San Jose and one in Santa Barbara. So option number 2. If you keep your mixed waste system, go to this high diversion facility. Option number 2 is to transition to the 3-part program. And as you know, that's over here, and that's what we're going to talk about tonight. Next slide, please. So the 3-part system. Given those 2 options, the board of directors did evaluate them and determined that upgrading the material recovery facility to this high diversion facility would be cost prohibitive, and elected to move forward with the 3-part system. So given that, in 2013, the board approved an amendment to our agreement with CRNR, it's the franchise waste hauler. And that was actually required by SB 1383. So we had to integrate these components to meet compliance with that legislation. Something very important to note here is that SB 1383 is an unfunded mandate. So that means the state is mandating that we implement these programs, but the state is not funding these programs. Because of that, the funding for the programs does have to come from the solid waste service rates. So when we're talking about costs for this program, we're looking at purchasing approximately 23,000 recycling carts. We're looking at costs for 2 additional collection trucks on the road, including maintenance. Costs for 2 additional employees to drive those trucks, and then all of the administrative costs that are associated with SB 1383. So in June of this year, the district held a public hearing. The board of directors adopted new solid waste rates. They equate to a $3.31 per month increase. So the current annual rate, which appears under property tax bill, is $328.92. So given this information, it's important to note that, again, this is a statewide mandate. Every city, county, special district across the state is required to implement these measures. And we're actually the last agency in Orange County to transition to this 3-part system. Next slide, please. So now that we've talked about SB 1383, what it requires of the district and of our customers, something important to think about is our landfills in Orange County. So there are currently 3 active landfills in the county. 34 cities and unincorporated areas are sending their waste to these landfills. One of them is actually scheduled to start a closure process in fiscal year 26-27. So once these landfills in our county reach capacity and they're no longer active, waste from Orange County residents will need to be hauled outside of the county, which will likely be by rail, and it will increase disposal costs because of that transportation. So not only can we reduce methane emissions, but hopefully we can reduce the amount of waste in landfills, keep them open a little bit longer, keep costs as low as possible for as long as possible. So with that, that concludes my presentation on SB 1383. Why we're here. Next slide, please. And so I am now going to turn it over to Julie Moreta, Senior Regional Vice President with CRNR. She's going to talk about the 3-part system and the rollout of the South, and then we will answer any questions following her.
Thank you, Marissa. We'll go ahead and start with the next slide. So I'm going to get into a little more of the actual details of the program and what's going to happen in the transition that's coming up. So as Marissa and Scott mentioned earlier, we are going to start deliveries and exchanges October 7th, and this process takes approximately 12 weeks, so it'll take us through the end of the year. And what's going to happen is, as you can see displayed here, every resident is going to receive 1 recycling cart with a blue lid. And at the same time, we're going to remove 1 of your mixed waste carts. So just to reiterate your current program, and not everyone has them, but residents can have 2 mixed waste carts and an organics cart. So right now, technically, if you have 2 mixed waste and recycle, you have 3 total. 1 of those mixed waste will be pulled away and you're delivered to the recycle cart. So you're still left with 3 carts, but now they're separated into the 3 different commodities, which would be, as we mentioned, a landfill cart, a recycle cart, and an organics cart. And then once you receive your recycling cart, your service begins the following week. So you start using it immediately. What you used to put all in the mixed waste cart, you start putting it into the recycle cart, and we'll get there. We have some flyers that I see a lot of people holding it, letting you know what goes in each cart. So earlier, this was in June or end of May, we sent out a cart size survey asking residents if they wanted to change the existing size of their carts. And as you can see, we have those sizes here displayed for you. We did bring some additional survey cards, so if you did not fill them out, you do have an opportunity to fill those cards out. If you want to change the size of the containers you have prior to us starting the exchanges and deliveries in October. If you didn't, and I don't think I have this on here, but I'll cover that. Let's just say you say I'm going to go with what I've got, see how it works. If after you get your recycling cart, and let's just say you have 65 gallons today, the middle size, and you think, you know, maybe I could use a bigger cart. After the first year, you can call us and we can change the size carts after we're done with the distribution, the original distribution. You can call it anytime and say, I want to increase or I want to decrease the size of my cart. So in case you want to wait and see how it goes, you can wait till after your cards are exchanged or delivered and then change those card sizes. Also, on your, same thing, CMSD has a great page on this, recycling transition, and so you can also go online there and fill out a survey form for the cards online if you prefer to do that versus filling out the card. So again, just kind of reiterate, the standard service today includes, or what you will have is one landfill card, one recycling card, and one organics card, but residents of, Costa Mesa still can ask for an additional organics card at no charge. So if you decide that you have, you know, a lot of, foliage, you know, greenery, trees, if you don't have one today, we did want to make sure everyone realized that you do have the option of getting a second organics card at no cost. Thanks. So the other thing that we realize, and we find this in several of the communities we serve, depending on side yards, if you live in a townhome, that sometimes these containers, there's some space constraints or maybe mobility issues. And so if you have 2 of the 35 gallons, you wouldn't be charged that extra card rate. You can have 2 35-gallon cards in place of the 165. If there's a scenario where you have no side yard, very little side yard, or maybe you put your containers in the garage, you can request that smaller card and you wouldn't be charged for the second card. It would just be kind of your complete set. For those residents that currently have, let's say you have 3 mixed waste cards, we're gonna pull one away, but if you wanna keep that second mixed waste card, or now it's gonna be called a landfill card, you can, but there is a $9 per month charge for that extra card. And some people are paying that today. If they have more than 2 mixed waste cards, they are paying for a third card at the $9 rate. So that charge applies. That was not something new, but we just wanted to make it clear. And we did have residents that did send their survey cards back and said, no, please don't take my extra mixed waste cards. I want to keep it and I'll pay the fee. But that's something that that again, you can coordinate ahead of time by calling us. You don't even have to wait. If you know that you have additional cards that you don't want to pay for, you can call us now and we can remove them now. You don't have to wait till after this card distribution process. Let's see, the other thing we do want to note is that, if the survey cards were not returned, we're gonna exchange what you have today. And so, in other words, I kind of mentioned this, let's just say you have the middle size, which is the most common that we have in the city. Most folks have the middle size. If you didn't return your survey card, we will automatically do what we refer to as like for like. When we distribute the recycling cards, you'll get the middle size. And we will remove one of the mixed waste cards, whatever the smallest of the 2 that you may have. We find that some people have a 96-gallon mixed waste card and a 65. So because we're taking one away, we will leave you with the bigger one. We're not gonna take the big one. We'll leave you the big one and we'll take the smaller one away. So I want to show these graphics. So this is the card exchange we did last summer in Laguna Niguel, where we had to swap out their cards also citywide. So the pictures kind of give you an idea and show you what's actually going to happen. So on the Friday before your exchange, we will call and do an auto call that's letting you know that your exchange is happening next week. And everything's done on your service day. And so we really encourage everyone to leave your cards out. You put them out by 6 in the morning, leave them out till 6 in the evening, because we're exchanging cards from 7 to 6 p.m. It's a whole day process and it's a different crew of drivers. Obviously, it's not the same employees that do the waste collection. It's a separate group of drivers. So you get the auto dial if we have your current contact information, and I'll talk about that a little bit more in a bit. But just to give you an understanding, so you know, so based on the survey or what we have in the system and what we show, all of these cards are loaded exactly by address. So we have a schedule, and the schedule, we're supposed to get it in a couple weeks, but we have a schedule and the trucks are loaded by address. So as we pull up and we have the semi truck on the street, they are offloaded and they know exactly every single house and what size part they should be delivering for you. So what happens is, as you can see from the drawing or from this photo here, the cart is full, it's probably full of recycled cards. So what we do is we offload the truck and drop all the recycled cards. then we have to come back around and remove the mixed waste carts because the truck has to be empty for us to get it back in there. So I just want to make sure it's clear and to spell this out, because I can understand that some residents might think, wait a minute, you just dropped off a recycle cart, but you didn't take one back with you. They basically have to circle the neighborhood and unload to have the trailer empty, and then they'll pick up the mixed waste carts. The following week, after you get your recycling cart, your current mixed waste cart will be relabeled with a sticker that says landfill. Because that's what they're referred to now. It's no longer called mixed waste, it's called a landfill cart, the recycle cart, and the organics cart. So there'll be a team on the streets the week after you get your recycling cart putting labels on your mixed waste cart, just for you to help with a reminder of what goes where. Next slide. So as I kind of mentioned, you can see them on the screen, and I thought I had myself. I already mentioned that they'll be relabeled. So any card exchange requests that we may get after September, we'll do in January. So like I mentioned, if you didn't fill out the survey or you think, gosh, I think that I really can recycle more of my cardboard, or I have more recycling than I thought I would, any requests after September, we will do those, what we refer to as swap outs or exchanges after the first of the year, once the deliveries have been completed. The other thing to note, and this does happen in our experience of doing these card exchanges, if for some reason you're on vacation, maybe you didn't put your cards out early in the morning and we already came through and we dropped off your card, but we didn't take the other one away because maybe it wasn't out yet, those will be completed on your following service day. So like I said, you can call us, but otherwise we will just do it on the following service day. It happens a lot, especially we're just starting yours in October, but when we did the other ones in the summer months, a lot of people on vacation, they come home and all their neighbors have all their new carts and you don't because you were out. So just give us a call when you come back, we'll go ahead and deliver your carts. And then the other thing that's important to note is, and I can't remember either Scott or Marissa did mention it, is that there will be no change to your collection days. Everything will be the same. The only difference is there'll now be 3 trucks on the street every week, separate trucks picking up the 3 separate containers, but your service days will not change. Everything will remain the same. So as a lot of you, and I think from the amount of people in the room today, the district's been doing a lot of outreach and education, which I think is a testament, as I mentioned, to all of you here today. So just to give you an idea, so if you have family or friends that live in Costa Mesa as well, you can let them know. This is the first of 4 town hall meetings we'll be hosting. We're doing another town hall Saturday morning here at the district. And then we're doing 2 in October at the Norma Herzog Community Center on the dates you would see on the screen. And then we've done, as I mentioned, a lot of outreach, social media posts going out, stuff on the website, flyers in the mail. We CRNR will also be doing a coming soon reminder in September, just as another reminder, and really will focus on what you have. A lot of you have your hands, but what goes where, friendly reminder, the recycling carts are coming, and what to expect when you get those. Next slide. And again, I referenced this, so if you didn't pick these up, we do have copies that are out front. And again, more information to come. We're kind of doing quite a bit of outreach and education. I think that what's different is in the processes with your mixed waste, that stuff comes to our facility, which we refer to a MRF, a material recovery facility. Everything goes up a conveyor belt and it's manually sorted. So this process of switching to the 3 separate carts, the vision of the state, and again, trying to keep as much material out of the landfills, really resorts in clean material. So one of the downsides with mixed waste is, in that mixed waste cart, you're putting your cardboard, your paper, your recyclable items, but in the same cart, you're also putting diapers, pet waste, and so some of that material is not recoverable and it doesn't get recycled because it's too dirty. So by going to the 3 system, it really does keep the recycling much cleaner, and there's an opportunity to try to recycle more that doesn't end up in the landfill. With that, that concludes my portion. And I think I'll turn that over to my seconds.
All right, so we're gonna start with some frequently asked questions, and then we'll move into questions that be either written down or that you have for us. Next slide, please. So these are some of the most commonly asked questions that we've been hearing over the last, weeks and months. So this is a big one, and this might be a question that you have, and we're definitely here to help, but what if I don't have room to put 3 carts? So there's a few different answers for this. One, we do have these 3 size options, so we're hoping that a combination of sizes will accommodate your individual space constraints. So we're hoping that will kind of accommodate where you're gonna place it. If you have concerns about storing your carts, so the city does require that carts get stored out of public view. So we have talked to the city. They're very happy to help if anyone has questions or concerns on where to put those. If they're out of view or what your options are, we can definitely refer you to the city. They'd be happy to come out and assist with that. So another concern is placing the carts curbside. So if you're in like an HOA community, maybe you've got 5 or 6 homes with maybe one street front property and you have concerns about where to place it, we'd actually like to meet with you and address those on a location by location basis. So myself and CRNR can go out to your location, we'll set up an appointment with you, and evaluate and try to come up with the best solution for your property. So the next question, so I recycle on my own, and I still require to have a recycling cart. So you're absolutely welcome to continue recycling on your own. That's we definitely appreciate that. You can still use the recycling cart for items that you're not maybe taking non-CRD plastics or papers, those mix of materials. And even if you do recycle on your own, yes, you are required to still have the cart or the SB 1383 mandate. We do have to deliver that blue cart to you, but you're welcome to recycle. We continue recycling on your own. Excellent. So can I keep my second mixed waste to become a landfill cart? So the new system, as we discussed, will include 1 landfill, 1 recycling, up to 2 organics. So the way to kind of look at it is that your recycling cart is going to replace 1 of your mixed waste carts. So some of those items that you're currently putting into your mixed waste carts are just now going into the recycling, and the hope is that it'll be split between those 2 carts. So we do also have an option to upsize. The 95-gallon hasn't been available in years, and so that is another way to kind of maximize your room for your items. And if you do elect to keep that second landfill cart, then there is a $9 per month. So something else that we've heard is due to space or mobility concerns, a 65 or a 95-gallon might be too large. And customers have asked if they can have 2 35-gallon carts instead. So maybe you've got like a narrow space in your garage, or it's just easier to handle. Yes, that is an option. So instead of 195 or 165, you can elect to have 2 35s. Just let us know if that's what you'd like to do, and we can definitely arrange that for you. That applies to any of the carts. And then this is just a graphic representation of the carts, the sizes, what your options are. So as you know, it's like the recycling organics landfill. You have the 3 different size options. It's 1 recycling, or 2 if you're doing the 35. 1 or 2 organics if you would elect to have the second organics cart, and then 1 landfill in the 95-65, or 2 if you're doing the 35. Next slide, please. All right, so we've already kind of addressed this, but if I receive my carts during the rollout, I decide that it's too big, too small, I'd like to make a change, how can I do that? So you can absolutely submit a request. We have a few different options. You can do that online. You can call CRNR directly. You can call us. We can arrange that request, get it on schedule, but it will take place after the rollout is complete in January. So if you do get it during the rollout, we'll just have to hang tight until the rollout's complete, and then we'll get it to you as soon as possible. So something else that we've heard is that some customers need a second cart only occasionally, so it's not a regular thing, but you might do spring cleaning, holiday, parties, that sort of thing, and you just need a second cart sometimes. So we do have a large item pickup program, so all customers have up to 3 large item pickups per year that you can request from CRMR. And that includes up to 10 items per pickup, so if you're doing some cleanup, that can be 10, bags of trash, it can be 10 bags of landscape waste, other types of large items, so that is another option. If you don't wanna have that permanent second cart, and you just need a little bit of extra occasionally. And then the last FAQ that we have is, do I need to wash my recyclables? So I can't buy garbage, my kitchen bottles, do I have to wash those? So the short answer is no, you don't have to wash them, just a quick rinse, and then we just ask that they be empty, clean and dry. So that's kind of just the simple way to remember that you don't have to wash, you don't have to go out your way, you don't have to peel labels or do anything. So I think that wraps up our FAQs, and then are we moving on to?
So thank you, Marissa. So does anyone else have any questions that turn in? If you do, we'll take them now. What I'll do, I'll read these off and then I'll turn off and see if Marissa, Julie can answer or not, I can answer. And once I'm done reading these, don't be alarmed, these aren't all the questions we're gonna ask. Once I read all these, you can raise your hand, we'll read my microphone so you can ask more questions. Okay, so like I said, if you're as long as we can to address any of your concerns and ask all your questions. Okay. So the first question, I'll turn it over to Julie, is the paper towels. What is the definition of soil? Which bin?
That's a new one, that's with the new law, SB 1383, so soil paper towels, so you're wiping your hands when you're eating, those now go into your organics container with the green lid. Yes, so that's considered, and we get the same of a paper plate, no different, so a soiled paper plate. Coffee cup, it goes into the organics container. Yeah, soiled paper towels go into the organics container.
Form says landfill.
Food soil, and my apologies, food soil. I don't put it in the same part saying.
Just what is the definition of soil?
Soil means food. So as I was describing food, if it's just something from the bathrooms, those go into the landfill part. But if you got food all over there and you're using as a napkin when you're eating dinner, those go in the organics container. Thank you for the clarification.
And this is actually two questions, two parts. As in the Newport Beach, Newport Riviera, we do not have green bins. Will we get one?
Yes.
So the answer is yes. Okay. Yes, we'll get a green. All right. So the next question, one exchange day, let's see, on exchange day, the one card needs to be empty, and when will an organic be delivered if we don't currently have one?
So what we try to do, if you remember the slide I showed with the trailers, we do try to coordinate having our collection vehicles go ahead of the delivery truck, so we pick them up, but if for some reason, you're on the schedule and the driver gets there to deliver your carts first, we will take the full ones away. So that's something that the residents don't have to worry about. Once we get to you, if it's empty or full, either way, we will take it back with us when we take one of the mixed waste carts.
And actually, there's a second part of this question. Can biodegradable bags be used for food waste? I can answer this and Julie won't say, but the answer is no. We use composting. It's different. So composting is accessible, but not biodegradable. It's technically biodegradable. Kind of this meeting. So composting, they're widely available now at all grocery stores. They're easy available. I would say 10 years ago they weren't. Now they're easily available. And they're not very expensive. Yes, Chris.
I just wanted to add, so I'm not sure that we answered regarding organics carts. If you don't currently have one, you will not necessarily be receiving it as part of this rollout for the recycling carts. We are scheduling those currently, they'll be coming soon. You will be receiving notification before you get the organics cart. So just so you don't assume that it's coming with the recycling cart, it will be on a separate schedule, but you will be notified before you receive it.
All right, so this question is, we all have one mixed card. How do I know they won't take the one I have? Okay, so.
If you only have one, we'll leave you with one.
And then my second part fell into the garbage. Can you leave us your name and address, we'll leave that second part.
I will say that happens sometimes. It's sometimes it could be a mechanical, could be a driver error, but if you ever notice that your cart falls in, anytime, any commodity, just call customer service and we'll bring you another one right away. It does happen.
Or use your name, address, and we'll take care of it, so just, yes, good question. All right, on track tonight, there will be 93 trash cans out on the street, which is 300 feet long. Where can we park all the curb space is taken? So again, this is one of those issues we mentioned earlier, so John, thank you, John, we have your email, we'll reach out to you, we'll schedule a site visit and see how we can work things out. We need to see what you're talking about and where we will find a solution for that. Unfortunately, I don't have an answer tonight, but these type of questions, will require us to go do a site review and work together on solving that problem.
I was just gonna add, if you come find me, I'll give you my business card, so you have my direct contact information, and we can get something set.
And I will add one thing on that. In those areas where folks maybe all line up their carts in the same place, we as a company have no problem if you want to, whether it's a white Sharpie or white paint, we do have a lot of customers that want to make sure they bring their own cans in at the end of the day. And so we have no problem if you wanna write your address on your cart, so that way, you know, you're gonna have one more out there, and some people already do that today, but I just wanna make that disclaimer, we are fine with that. If you wanted to write your address on your cart, so you bring your same ones in every night, we have no problem with that.
So here's a question, colored cardboard, is that recycled?
Yes.
Okay, colored cardboard is recyclable, I think it's more recycling questions, cat litter, no, not recycling, goes in the trash. Cloth or clothes, which textile, we call textile, answer, it goes in the trash, but we do highly recommend if they're reusable, drop them off at a Goodwill or Salvation Army, right? Get a nice tax donation out of that, and so, that's our recommendation. If they're usable, don't put them in trash, donate them. Paper, yes, that's recyclable. Diapers, no, that goes in the trash.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Can I replace 2 large carts with 3 medium carts?
Too large, because we have the smallest ones, so the 3 small would equal. The answer is no, not for 2 medium, you would have to take the 3 small to replace 196, because then it's equivalent volume.
Okay, any other cards? Yes.
Julie, there was one more question from a resident. For the card survey cards that have been mailed in or emailed, how do the residents know that you have received those cards?
They wouldn't know other than we've already updated your account, so again, as I mentioned, we have a very detailed list by address. Everything's already uploaded into our system, so in our system, it shows as if you already have those cards today, and that's the list that we deliver from. So, just so everyone knows, we serve about a little over 23,000 homes, in CMSD's district. And we received over 6,000 response cards for online forums. So we did get a large response of people that did fill those out, but all of that information has already been uploaded into our system, our database. So again, there's no response back. Some people, I don't know if there's in this room, but we did have to do some follow-up on a couple of the cards we got. Maybe something wasn't clear, and we did have to do some phone calls. But other than that, everything's already been uploaded and done based on the boxes you checked.
Yes.
How do you police if people are putting the right caption right containers?
Good question. Yeah, sure.
The question was, how do we police or validate people are putting the right things in the right containers? So we are not the trash police. However, this new law, SB 1383, requires cities and districts to do what we call route reviews. And we refer to them as lid flips. And so CR&R, as part of our franchise agreement with the district, we do a random sample where you will see CR&R team members with vests on, looking through all 3 of your cans, and it's really not to say gotcha. The state requires us to educate, right? So we have a tag that we would leave on whatever card. So if we saw there was a lot of food waste still or cardboard, or maybe shampoo bottles in your trash, we would tag the trash can that says, hey, you had some recyclable items. So if the law requires it, we have to report it. The district has to report that information to the state once a year. But again, the sole purpose is, what Marissa talked about, is we want to preserve the landfill. It's more than just the emissions. We don't want to have to transport our waste out of county to the desert on a rail, which would cost us a lot of money. So the goal is to educate. But we are required, and we will do what we call, they're called route reviews or lid flips, to educate folks, to make sure that they're putting things in the right container. But with that being said, you'll see a lot more outreach, and like I said, as the flyers everybody has, just with friendly reminders, making sure that people know. And then at any time, and you know, whether you call customer service or we're doing a booth in town or something, we do a lot of things with the city events and have booths as does the district. We can always answer questions. Come up and ask us, hey, I can't tell you for years I've been doing this, where I have a couple come up and say, I need you to help me, we have a fight in our family on what goes in what car. And this is almost caused a divorce, I've had people tell me that. So anyway, so, you know, just ask, if you're not sure, the district, CRNR, we can take a phone call, say, hey, I'm not sure, where am I supposed to put this? We can answer that question for you.
Okay, I have a couple of questions. So on your paper and recyclable, what about documents that normally I go to, I take them over to the college and I'm pretty much sure they're safe over at the college. I'm gonna be safe in your recycling.
I will tell you, and Tiffany, if you were to shred them or not to shred them, they go right to our facility. I don't know if anyone's ever YouTubed or saw what happens when you take things to a facility. I can assure you they're safe. The only thing you wouldn't have to worry about is the choice you make is that, you know, you have them today, whether they're in a separate cart or they're in the mixed waste cart, there are scavengers that go through neighborhoods. For the most part, they're looking for recyclables that they can take and get money. They're not looking for so much of important documents, but I think that's the call you make. I will tell you that I tear mine up and I put them in. They go to the recycling facilities, I mentioned, they go on a conveyor belt. It's really, it would be difficult for them to not be safe, but it's a personal choice.
Okay, and then the second question on the recyclable. Like I just recently dismantled the trampoline. I have metal parts and heavy springs. And I put that in the recyclable.
Yes, you can. Yes.
And then, what about wood products like, construction wood, if it's cut down small enough to throw away?
So you do two things with those. The wood can go in your organics container, but the container can't be real heavy. It's not really meant for construction material. Or you could also use it as a bulky pickup. They can't be heavier than 50-pound bundles, but we could also pick that up as a bulky. So if you were, let's say, taking out a back fence on your own property and you wanted to put some out every week, you have 3 pickups a year or something like that, maybe you rent what we call a cub bin, small cleanup bin.
Yeah, we're gonna be done when you get to the cabin, but we cut it up in small.
Yeah, I mean, that would be a lot to put in your bin. I mean, for that case, we do recycle. We have what we call cub bins, 3-yard bins. If it's at your curb, you've probably seen them in the neighborhoods. And we do go through that. We call those C&D material, and we do recycle that material. That might be an option to do that. You have 2 options, either bulky pickup or rent a bin.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah.
I'll bring the number for you.
Hello? Good evening. I have a few questions here. Since this is a brand new program with brand new trash cans, I have 2 landfill trash cans. And you said that you would only pick up 1. What am I supposed to do with the other one if I want a new landfill trash can from your program?
Okay, so you have 2 mixed waste carts and an organics cart.
Yes.
So when we deliver the recycle one, we're gonna take one away. But if you don't wanna take it away, you wanna keep it, that would now be considered an extra landfill cart, and there's the $9 fee per month.
I don't want the other landfill card. I want you to.
So if you only have 2 or only, so you don't want any landfill at all, you're gonna completely recycle?
No, I'll take a landfill, but I have 2 of them, you said you would only take 1, what am I supposed to do with the other one, if I want a new one? Tell me what.
So if you want, we can replace it with a new one.
For how much?
It won't cost you anything, it's just, if it's, as long as you have 1 car, we'll fix it.
Okay, and another thing, I have a couple more questions, really, please. With this garbage police thing, you know, we say you're just gonna peek and put a little tag on it and this and that. Don't you guys have something else better to do with your time, to be really honest?
Yes, we do, but it's mandated by the state, the state's gonna have.
You have to report it to the
Yes.
county and to the state and all that.
Yes.
That gets a little low.
Yes.
And another thing I would like to know about the landfill thing, you state you're gonna have to move some of the landfill that our garbage and whatnot goes into, and it's gonna be put on trains and bus someplace. And you say that only 75% of it is protected, can you guarantee? And where does the other 25% of the landfill waste and methane go?
Loaded question. I can tell, so. What Marissa said that, the landfill that's gonna be closed in a couple years is up in Gray. We don't take our, here in Costa Mesa, we don't take our waste to that landfill, we take it to the one in Irvine. But however, both residents in northern part of Orange County will be taking their waste to the, Irvine, landfill, which will, increase, the capacity. I can assure you that, I would say about 10 years ago, when it was here, the largest landfill in the world was in Los Angeles, California, was closed. And LA County Sanitation District, it started railing their trash out to the desert. And they got a lot of blowback from the public, it's extremely expensive, they were talking over $30 tipping fees, $30 a ton tipping fees. They got blowback, but I can tell you that right now what they're doing is they're building landfills out in the desert in anticipation that landfills in LA, Orange County are going to be closed. They will, they have license, they're going to close it. Where are you going to construct a landfill in Orange County?
I'll tell you where, there used to be a landfill right there off the Jamboree. There's multi-million-dollar homes built on top.
Right, because it was closed, it's closed landfills, and now they're putting homes. I'm just saying, where are you going to construct a brand new landfill? You're not, because we're so dense here in Southern California, the only place to put landfills is in the desert. So what we're saying is that the recycling, by reducing the amount of waste on landfills, hopefully will expand the lifespan of those landfills, keep them open longer, so that we won't have to rely on the rail and increase our.
Okay, I guess I'll answer my question. All in all, our taxes are just gonna go up, exactly. Right?
I'm sorry, it's up on your name, like.
You know,
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we were quite certain it was. So here's a good question. How do you, put fat oils and grease into containers? So grease, right? Some options we do. If it's a small amount of grease, let's say like a quarter or half, grease in a tin can. And you have green waste already in your organics, you just pour it on the green waste, that's fine. If you don't have a lot of green waste, and you don't want your can get sticky with that in there, but I do it home, I just put it in the compostable bag, the grease and compost that, and put the bag in the container, or in the container. Now, does anyone fry the turkey through the holidays? You see those fryers, one part? Okay, so do I, it's a great place, great way to cook the turkey, right? But what you don't want to do is, that's about 5 gallons of grease, you do not want to put that into the container. So what I discuss every year here in the district, we do have a grease recycling part where you can drop off your grease, either at HQ, hopefully, Orange Coast College, section will open up real soon. We have a program there where you can drop off your grease there. We have a contract that collects it, recycle it at no cost. So we do look out for that kind of advertising. So small quantities of grease, great, no problem putting it in the organic part. Large quantities, no, please don't do that. Okay. Let's see. How far do we have to park from the carts? 2 parts question. So how far do we have to park from the carts?
We prefer a 3-foot distance.
And then the other cardboard is wrapped in plastic tape. Is that recyclable?
Yes, it's fine.
Okay, very good. And then what can I use to kill bugs in organic waste? Something that's eco-friendly. SIBO? We'll look into that. We'll have an expert on that. I'm sorry, I wasn't the experts. Okay, I saw some hands raised yesterday, Nevada.
Yeah, I have 3 questions.
I'm sorry, I made 6, I'm sorry. Go ahead, the line.
Okay, hi, thank you for the presentation and the information. I have a couple questions. I currently only have a landfill, the large one, so I know we'll get a new one of those. want a small recycling, I don't need an organics, I don't have time, a room, I'm in a condo and I compost. Do I have to have an organics?
Yeah, that's what they're gonna do. Sorry.
Even if I'm not gonna use it?
Um,
Cause I have to literally, to get to the backyard, I have to take this trash can through the inside of my house.
yeah, this was an issue, we went back and forth with public sector staff, and we could talk about this sort of situation, they were pretty adamant to suggest, at least a minimum 30 gallon, was required. So there's no exemptions. It might change, we're still putting pressure on public sector to change that position, but at this point, I'm sorry. So,
Okay, and then, how does this affect Christmas?
Just add, if you compost on your own, that's fantastic. You don't have to use the organics part if you don't have any organic waste and you're composting on your own. As long as it's not going into the landfill or recycling part, you're taking it, that's fine.
And I understand that, but my point was just, if I'm not gonna use it, then why do I need it? It's taking up space. And then the second one is, the Christmas tree pickup program,
yes.
I must say, has been lousy. I have a live Christmas tree every single year. When it says we pick up between December 28th and January 6th, I put mine out on my trash day and it does not get picked up. So will that be improving? Do we need to cut it up? Do we need to put it in a recycle? How's that gonna work?
Yeah, it's an opportunity, and yes, you can definitely cut it up, make sure you take off the,
Base.
the base, and you kind of organize those stuff, you cut them up and put them in your, container, so you can do that.
Okay, thank you.
Correct.
So you keep using the word trash. To me, all of this is trash. So in the rest of the presentation and subsequent presentations, can you use the term recyclables, organics, and landfill instead of the word trash?
Sure.
I had 3 questions, now I have 4. One related to a previous comment about wood, scrap 2x4, scrap plywood that goes down with the organics cart. That's small enough to fit in there. Okay, next one, I have a shredder that I use a lot, so I have quite a bit of small shredded paper. I usually always put it in a trash bag so that it doesn't get thrown all over the place. Is that still correct, or should it just be loose?
We prefer it loose,
Okay,
but if it goes in the recycle, it's still gonna be recycled. We prefer to be loose, but make sure it just goes down the blue card.
okay. Third question, I have 3 palm trees. Every 3 months or so, 2 or 3 palm fronds will drop off. That fills up my landfill cart. I have no room for trash. What happens then?
You use it for a bulky pickup, you get 3
Yeah, and the
every year.
bulk pickup, every time I've scheduled one, is 3 to 4 to 5 weeks out from my trash day. So is that gonna improve?
Yes, I would tell you.
That was gonna be my next question, is you say you can save Christmas wrappings and all that, but sometimes it's 4 weeks out before they'll even do a large item pickup.
Yeah, if you have those, I would say, please call the district if you get that response. Mike is here with CRNR as well as me. We could look into that as well. That's not our policy. It shouldn't take that long. So that's, you know, I don't like hearing that, but the answer is yes, it will improve.
All right, thank you.
I came in late, but I'll have 2 questions. So the question is, I heard you say something about 50-pound weight limit. So I'm guessing on the largest landfill is a 50-pound limit. I'm curious on what the weight limits are on all 3 bins.
So all of the cards are meant for household waste. When we refer to the 50 pounds, that was referring to a bundle of bundled wood of bulky items. So hopefully that most things don't. There are weights on the carts. You know, the largest one, I would say, I think it's around 200 pounds of material. most of our cards don't even come close, and Mike, you can help me, but I think our average pounds per home on the trash card is about 50 or 60 pounds, that's the average. The recycling, even though the recycling containers are always overflowing, those cards usually weigh in the 20s, and in the organics containers, again, just depending on the time of the year with grass clippings and other things, those also run between 30 and 40 pounds. They will hold more, but they're not meant for heavy concrete, dirt, construction debris.
Thank you. And that might be put, I don't know, I mean, I was just looking at this flyer to give maybe on one of the next flyers coming out. Also homeowners to understand maybe some of the weight limits to keep it safe and sane for the pickups too. Oh, can we take our bins when Orange Coast College opens? Can we take our compost and our recycling and we were able to have workers on campus and they're gonna take these things and we can unload our stuff?
You know, I think if you had done one, I think put it on the container, I believe, I closely explained.
Yeah,
But I,
recycling. the Orange
yeah,
Coast
I'm not sure they accept composting, but if you have the CRD materials that they accept, sure, if you want to do that, you fit your car, absolutely.
I think the only thing I'd add to that is, and I don't know, maybe I'm putting Mike Carey on the spot, who used to work for the OCC Recycling, who works for us now. A lot of recyclables that we want to make sure we capture are, let's say, things for the bathroom, shampoo bottles, empty hairspray cans, lotion containers. All of that does not have CRV value, and you would not get redemption from that, but we want to see that material going into the blue card. Same thing with like peanut butter jars, you know, like you mentioned, jelly jars, pickle jars, all of that does not have CRV value. And we still want to make sure that that gets into the cart. So again, we have no problem if you want to load your recycle cart in the back of the truck because it's easy for you to transport, but they're not going to take all those things that we really want to see get into the blue cart, so we keep that on the window.
Thank you.
I guess based on the other guys' questions about the shredding, so if you have a lot of like small mail pieces, can those go back into the recycle so that they're not blown all over the street?
I think what we'll do, it's the same thing as we mentioned for your organics. We prefer that you use compostable bags. Most of those bags are green. So if you want to bag it, we don't have a problem, but we would prefer it's compostable. We don't want like the Stater Brothers or the Target bags. Those are, you know, it's funny, they say they have 75 or 100 uses, but they do not break down. And we say take those back to the grocery store or recycle, but if you want to bag it, and I understand, especially with the small papers, I would suggest purchasing the compostable ones, so at least we make sure that those are gonna break down and not, you know, pollute the environment.
And then could you kind of break down what food packaging is that goes in the organics, the said food packaging on one of them? Or what's the plan?
Oh, food packaging, okay, so landfill, so food packaging would be chip bags, I'm trying to think of other things, it's pizza boxes. Pizza boxes are now organic, so that was the thing that changed over the years. First, they used to say a pizza box was recyclable, and then the other countries where the material was shipped or other recyclers that make new cardboard said, no, if there's too much grease on it. And now with SB 1383, even if you have a few pieces of pizza that haven't been eaten, it's covered in grease, you just take that whole box and that goes into your organics container. But for the most part, it's flexible packaging, I think is what we put. It's really meant for like a lot of the wrappers of foods that food material comes in, like spaghetti, I would say like the plastic spaghetti, packaging, that's not recycled.
Red wrappers?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Red wrappers?
Red, that is not recycling, that's good, that's trash. A loaf of bread, the wrapper, correct. Oh, question now is TV dinners, and the answer is that is the foil, if you have a TV dinner, but the box itself, that's considered cardboard, that's recyclable. Anything that's in the frozen food section that comes in a box, all those boxes, even though they're kind of waxy, all of those go into recycling. Anything from the freezer, except for that's okay, you just made me think about something, except for vegetables. Vegetables come in that plastic is not recyclable, those plastic bags, it's only the boxes. The question was about styrofoam. Styrofoam is trash. That's landfill parts.
I have a question. Okay, the way we have our set up, we have a trash can in the kitchen and we have a trash container in each bathroom. Then we also have a little small green container that we put our food waste in and put that into the organics part. How many containers are we gonna need? I mean, when you're busy cooking and stuff, you don't have time to run in and out of the house and finish to throw into these parts.
So I will share what I do, and I'm with you, so I've been doing this for a long time, so what I do is, I keep a paper bag, I try any grocery store that does offer paper bags for me, or maybe one of my boxes from Amazon. I will leave that on the edge of my counter, and I put my corn cans, my chicken broth cans, whatever I'm cooking with, it is recyclable, I just keep it on the edge of the counter, and every couple, 2-3 days, then you recycle it, but it is, you'll see a lot of the places, Amazon, as far as we all shop Amazon, a lot of them are selling these compartments where you can find new trash cans that have a divider in them, but it is a way that it's like was mentioned, CMSDs have the benefit of keeping the way you had it for a really long time. Every other city, has already went to a 3-can system, so I think it just takes adjusting for us. I'm also a Costa Mesa resident, and so it's gonna take some adjusting for us, but you just gotta kind of figure out your own. That's what I do. I use a paper bag or an Amazon box to keep my recycling separate. And then again, every 2-3 days, or when you know you're going outside, just take it with you and throw it out.
I'd like to get a clarification. Replacing containers, you say if the biggest container, you have a space restriction and you can't put it there, you'll let people have 2 small containers, no charge. Is that correct?
Right.
So right now, they have 2 small landfill containers. May I keep those?
Yes, you can keep those.
Okay,
You can keep those, but we still have to deliver you a small recycling cart.
I'll take a small recycling and I'll take a small organics.
Okay, I would say, can we have you fill out a cart survey with your address so we can update it on your account right away? Did you fill out a survey or no?
I got one in the mail, I believe, I filled it out.
Oh, you filled out, did you give us that direction?
No, I
And
didn't.
if you did it, let's have you fill one out before you go.
And one thing on the survey, it says 35 gallons, 60 gallon, 90 gallon. Try to go out and measure it, you have cubic inches in the right gallons and you have to figure out what size it has.
Yeah, I think it's either what you're here to see it, you could visualize it, but yeah.
And one is a spot, you guys been using to fund OCC to get their program back up and running, that's over here after they build a brand new facility.
Well, it's slated, and I heard about OCC recycling, we've been staying in touch with, the college. The good news is that they did find a third-party operator, they did a contract with that third-party operator, and called OCC Recycling. That third-party operator is submitting an application to how to recycle, and that's what they're waiting for, is approval to how to recycle. So, I would say, so, if you're a little patient, I'm optimistic, it'll be open by October, but so there is light in the tunnel, and the next is gonna be able to speak.
I live by myself and I'm paying containers. My gardener comes, it's usually not very much, but there are times when it's and cuts down quite a bit of foliage. So I put it in the green and then any extra goes in the. And I.
Yeah, you're not, any extra greenways, you're not supposed to put in the black part. And what I do is if I have extra greenways, I'm just gonna set it aside and then put it in my green cart the next week. So that's what I do, if I have extra, greenways and I can't put it all in one cart, I just put it in my yard and then put it in the street. You can, yes, you can do that too, yes. Do you give us your, information, we'll make sure you get this.
And so for those, you don't have to wait. So the question is, she has extra green waste periodically. As we mentioned in the presentation, you can have a second organics cart for free. And that's really separate from what's happening with this process. So you can call us now and we can get you your organics container on your next service day. You don't have to wait. That's part of your current service that you can have an organics, a second organics cart for free. You don't have to pay. Yes, you call for that.
What do I do with my motor oil, unused paint, medicine, or batteries? Which card does that go into, and if it doesn't go into any
It
card?
doesn't go into
or do you
any
use-
card.
Yes, I take it.
You don't have to take it anywhere, we will pick it up from you. Yes, Marissa, do you want to talk about the HHW program?
Yeah, so, we have a large item pickup program, we have to pick up per year. We also have an household hazardous waste pickup program, so chemicals, batteries, e-waste, sharps, those are all included in that program. You can schedule something to pick up with us and we'll come right to you and you can have it.
Thank you.
What are the limits on that? How many gallons of paint and how much oil can be picked up?
125. I wanna say it's 5 gallon max per container.
125.
Yes.
Count.
125.
5 gallons per container,
5
25
gallons.
per.
Per container, 25 gallons per pickup.
Thank you.
Paint, yes, paint, household chemicals, batteries, electronic waste, so if you have computer, television, those types of items, yes. The paint would just be in, you would just put it into a container, a sealed container, we pick it up that way. So when you call in a request, we'll ask for a list of everything that you have to pick up, so we know exactly what we're going for. So you just let us know, I have a 1 gallon paint container.
I have a comment and a question. My question is, do you think down the road, they will allow you to get a second to recycle container?
Yes, that's, the goal of the program is to recycle more and reduce less trash, so the idea is to have a smaller trash cart, but more recycling than the gas cart, so I think, yes, we like to have people get more recycling.
Then I have a comment. I worked at North County Fairgrounds for years overseeing the trash and recycle program. And of all the contractors I dealt with, CRNR was the best.
Thank you.
I do have another question here on the card. Food spoil themselves, can we put it in a plastic bag? I do all my organics, I put it in a compostable bag. So you're right, it does smell, but you put it in a compostable bag, then put it in your organics, keep the lid shut, you're fine. So, compostable bags.
Where do you find these bags?
My question has to do with plastic bags as well.
Yes.
You've mentioned, paper bag, you've mentioned, plastic bags, like a glad bag and so forth, and then the compostable bag. Can we use the compostable bags in all three types?
Sure, absolutely, absolutely.
Can we use the regular plastic bags like we've had before in the landfill?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Regular.
The first question is, what's the best estimate that the 3 landfills in Orange County will be full?
All three,
All 3.
50, 75 years from now.
Okay, so railing to the desert probably will be required in about 75 years.
Possibly, it just all depends on if, so the last landfill that we closed would be the one that's separate from Trump.
Okay, second question, that's all needed.
Okay.
I understand the mixed waste line that we have right now requires people to actually separate and sort the trash. Is that true?
Well, trash.
The mixed waste cart?
Yes, the
Okay,
mixed waste part is being sorted, but it
we're
was
gonna
that
eliminate
facility.
that, correct? We're gonna eliminate that, so what is the labor savings of that elimination?
So the labor savings still exists because the recycling cart, instead of the mixed waste cart going on the conveyor belt and they're pulling all the recyclables out. You would be surprised that we still want to encourage recycling, but we get a lot of material that still doesn't belong in the recycling cart, but at the same time. I really encourage anyone to YouTube a recycling, a material recovery facility, because there's recycling is still not automated, meaning robotics, it's done by hand. So the top of the conveyor belt, the labor is still there because one person's pulling off cardboard into a bunker, the one on the other side is pulling off paper. Someone on the other side is pulling off aluminum, they're pulling off the plastics, so it's still a lot of labor. It's just not as much trash that they're pulling out, but they still have to sort the recyclables, because then everything goes into these bunkers, it gets baled, and then shipped to the end user who makes that material into something new.
Good, thanks.
Hi. Yeah, I have a question, just curious about, I have 3 shares of apartments in Costa Mesa. They don't recycle anything. That's a question.
They're supposed to. In an apartment complex in Costa Mesa, the city of Costa Mesa, commercial service, most of those have to be commercial dumpsters. And, it is still a requirement, they don't have them obviously per unit, but in the enclosures where they have the dumpster, they're also supposed to have recycling dumpsters and organics containers. So it still should be there, it's, what we call open market. The city is required, not CMSD, but the city itself is also required to make sure that they kind of police it, as that was mentioned earlier. We have, for the customers that we serve, that are served by CRNR, we have to submit monthly reports to the city, telling them which customers are not compliant with having a recycling container or organics container. So they're required by the state to make sure every single apartment complex or business also has 3 individual containers to separate the materials. So, yeah, I can't answer specifically, I don't know, if you serve somewhere in another holler, but I think there's, in Costa Mesa, there's something like, 12 permitted different trash haulers. That can make up apartments or businesses in Costa Mesa. So I can't specifically answer the
I know.
So we can eliminate a lot of our bonds and letters and whatnot, that have now piled dirt and excess old trash. And I put that in the green waste can if I don't.
Dirt and grass.
Yeah, dirt, it's like, where we used to have lawn, we cut out, put some commemorative plant there.
Sure.
And we dump all that out, but that dirt's piling up in my backyard.
Yeah, I think the example that Scott mentioned, what he does personally, yeah, if you spread it out and put some in every week, well, here's the example I would use. If you can roll it to the cart without struggling, like, pushing it, like you can barely roll it, it's gonna fall over, that's a sign it's too heavy. But if you put it in maybe halfway with some of the dirt and the grass and you can physically still roll it, the truck will be able to lift it. So I kind of use that as the example. If you're struggling and that thing, is that you can't take it out, then it's probably too much.
I don't want to put it a little bit to comment.
Yeah.
Okay, the new landfill car was black. The old one is green. What are you going to do with that?
So what we're going to do is, over a period of time, we didn't talk about this, so I'm glad you're bringing this question up, sir, it's a good question. So all new containers, so if you call us and say, hey, my wheels are broken, my lid is broken, the car's got a crack in it, we would replace those for you for free. So all new containers, as they go through the process and get exchanged, they will be the same black body as this and with a black lid for landfill. But until the meantime, if the card is still in perfectly good working shape, that is why the week after we deliver your recycling card, we're gonna come by and put the landfill labels on top of your green card to say this is now landfill. Right, but anyone in the room, and there are a lot of them, I see, like I said, I live in Costa Mesa, I see them in the neighborhoods. If you were to call us, this is our new standard color scheme. So over time, everyone will end up with the same color body card with just the different colored lids.
Questions?
Yes, now, when we have like party something.
So, all the plates and stuff like that, now we use like bags from Costco, the fat bags, and we put it on those, and then put it in the trash. So, can we use those same bags? Or do we have to get
Yeah, but parties and other things, electoral food and things and so. People are all, we have the direction.
Yeah, they have to come with that.
Where do you get that? Because we have these very small ones, maybe it's like a gallon.
You can get Amazon, Amazon's a great place, Trader Joe's and storage radios, they're just about everywhere. Find them. Yeah, I would try to get Amazon, you remember.
So what you're saying is buy the whole that's it.
Yes, and then you just put the whole bag and all your soil paper plates and scrap food and go in.
Okay.
You have a big enough party, you have to invite all of us, and we'll eat all the food. No, I'm not sure.
I've got a question for you. I keep hearing, this is, I filled out the card on SB 1383 is it, that you guys keep referring to. And that is a green waste. That's all about green waste, and we're talking about recyclables. So how does, I'm missing the link between the complying with 1383, which is a green waste.
Sure, so when we're talking about SB 1383, we're talking about all organic waste, so that is food waste, green waste, but also recyclable items in paper and cardboard. And so SB 1383 requires this organics recycling program like we have for food waste and green waste, but it also mandates that we implement this 3-cart system to collect.
I picked through that pretty good, and I'm not finding that anywhere in the SB 38 language.
Sure. So
It talks about like we already have the green card, but it doesn't, I'm not seeing the 3-cart mandated system for the recyclables.
So. Oh, okay, so if you would refer to the 3-cart collection system of the legislation, it's there. But essentially what it's saying is if you're collecting in a mixed waste system, so we have our mixed waste card. Any jurisdictions that have a mixed waste collection system have to either go to a high diversion organic processing facility or transition to this 3-cart system. And so as I mentioned in the presentation, the board determined that that was cost prohibitive to upgrade the facility to that type of a high diversion facility. And so the only other option is to implement the 3-cart system, and that is in the regulations.
The board being.
The board of directors for the district.
Right, doesn't that come under CRNR?
CRNR is our franchise waste hauler, so the district contracts with,
I understand that, so, but we would be buying that recycle, that high efficiency recycling center. We would be purchasing that, or CRNR would be purchasing that?
The cost would be passed to us to upgrade a facility if we were using that facility.
They
So
would,
that was.
okay, so they would upgrade it and then they would pass that cost along to us, is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay, and then the money that's coming from the recycling that they're going to get, that I'm sure that they're probably gonna sell to a third party, where does all that money go to? I think I'll bet a little bit later.
The market for that, it really goes to help offset our costs, so we can charge a lower rate back to the district. You would be surprised, if you look at a diversion breakdown summary, we get very little of the CRV value because most folks, especially when you have OCC, when they open up again in your city, we get very little CRV, I apologize, there's a name here. We get very little CRV material. There is not a huge,
But is it paper, like you said, cardboard, that there, I mean, there seems to be a double jargon, because we have people that are pulling off some of the stuff on the mixed waste. You know, we aren't getting away from those people, even though we're going to a 3-cart system. So there is some, and cardboard I know can be sold, glass, even though there's not CRV can be sold, all those things can be sold. So
there is, but what goes with that thing about the process I described, it's highly labor intensive on our side for the number of employees that we have that sort the materials. And then we have to truck it and we have to pay the barge to send it to Vietnam. A lot of it doesn't get processed here in the United States, a lot of it goes to other countries. So there's a lot of cost that goes with that, which for the most part, it's really a break even.
but I don't understand how then Orange Coast College can make a profit on their recycling center, but we're losing money on all this.
Again, we've had many discussions with the Northwest College recycling, and they're not making a profit on their recycling center. The board had made a decision that on the revenues on CRDs would be kept by CRR, because it is a commodity. There's good times and bad times. So we do not want to be in bad times where it's bottoms out, they're actually losing money. And so when that happens, they have to find facilities to store oil materials and wait till the market rebounds. We don't,
That's part of doing business.
well,
That's the business that they chose, so
yeah, so-
I understand what you're saying to a point, but, I wish I could have somebody, do my, I'm working for them at this point.
If you want to take your recyclables to, Byerson, it's okay to do that. We're not stopping you to do that. You want to receive revenues from, wine bottles, from aluminums, from tin, from paper, you can buy that here. But there's other materials like Julie mentioned that aren't CRD valued, and that's where the blue card will come in. But you have that option with this every time.
Thank you very much.
Scott, we have our last question here.
Yeah, I was wondering, when I fry food, a lot of times there's some oil left over after frying, and I usually let that in a jar. What way to do with that jar, so where does that go?
It's full of grease.
It's grease, yeah.
Yeah, and is it solidified or is it still liquid?
Fill with oil sometimes.
If it's solidified, just put it in trash. Okay, it's solidified, just put it all in.
And, landfill trash?
Yeah, medical trash, well, that in black part. If it's still liquid, I will put it in a compostable bag and put that in your organic part.
So, yeah, it's usually a mixture of oil. So.
Yeah, it's fine. You're only looking at the organic part. So that's fine.
Yes.
And then,
Yes.
Yeah, and remember, sorry.
Bags, something.
Not bags, but like recycled products, shampoo bottles.
Yes.
Hot bags, no, the only thing I really said was compostable bags, just remember that, compostable bags, you know,
Plastics. Or plastic bags, it's like it out. You know what I mean? Think about it.
Yeah.
Versus flexible, like plastic. Well, that's also and those are not percentage. So if it's any kind of a flexible plastic, not percent lots of bags, or like something.
Lots of things.
So when you look on the bottom of the plastic container, you'll see those numbers, you won't see the numbers on those. So any plastics, number 1 through 7, you can put into your recycling things.
Flag those up in my head.
Ideally, we'd rather have it all here.
Yeah.
That's right.
We'll stay here, if you have any questions, we'll stay here, and.
But, that can other things.
I want to say hi.
Oh,
I really
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.